Welcome back to the basics. This is the 1% Club. In my previous video, I explained the basics of proof of work. Today, I'll explain the basics of proof of stake, also known as POS, as well as its benefits, faults, and differences. If you haven't watched my video on proof of work, I highly recommend you watch it, as it'll help you understand this video. Proof of stake was originally introduced in a 2012 paper written by Sonny King and Scott Nandel as a way to solve Bitcoin mining's high energy consumption problem. At the time, it cost a daily average of around $150,000 to maintain the Bitcoin network. Many believed there was a better solution. Participants of a proof of stake currency are called validators instead of miners, and the process of adding a new block to the blockchain is called minting or forging instead of mining. Proof of stake works by choosing a validator who will then validate the transactions from a block. Once the block has been validated, it will be added to the blockchain and the validator will receive the transaction fees as a reward. To become a validator, you need to stake a certain amount of the currency you are trading. The more you stake, the greater your chances. If a validator is to validate a fraudulent transaction, they will lose part of their stake, which can be upwards of $10,000. The reward they receive is always less than how much they stake, which means if they validate fraudulent transactions, they will always lose money. Proof of stake only requires a few validators at a time, whereas proof of work lets anybody become miners, meaning proof of stake uses substantially less power. Bitcoin miners alone consume enough energy to power the whole of New Zealand. Proof of stake penalises the validators who try to harm the network as a way to avoid large power consumption. Proof of stake is still vulnerable to what's known as the 51% attack. However, to accomplish this, you would need to own 51% supply of the cryptocurrency, which can often cost billions of dollars. Proof of stake is less likely to experience a 51% attack compared to proof of work. So, let's compare the differences between proof of stake and proof of work. To become a validator, you need to stake a certain amount of the currency. To become a miner, you need to purchase mining hardware known as nodes. Validators will validate blocks to receive the transaction fees as a reward. Miners must solve complicated hash functions to find a nonce in which they will receive the transaction fees as a reward. For POS, a 51% attack requires you to own 51% of the currency, whereas for POW, a 51% attack requires you to have a mining pool consisting of 51% of the nodes on the blockchain. Proof of stake uses little power, proof of work uses lots of power. Those are some of the main differences between proof of stake and proof of work. Both have their individual strengths and weaknesses. Some well-known cryptocurrencies you might like to invest in that run on proof of stake are Cardano, Polkadot, Solana, and Ethereum. Now you know the basics, benefits, and faults of proof of stake, as well as the differences between proof of stake and proof of work. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please leave a like and subscribe, as it greatly helps out the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day, and I wish you luck in your crypto adventures.